Okay, so now let's throw that little mini bowl. My ball of clay is 2/3 the size of what I originally used. They were the exact same size of clay, and I cut off a little 1/3 ball. So, and make sure it's in the center. Seal it down to the bat. Your hand's wet. Cone up. In the hole. So our goal is to have a bowl that is about 4.5 inches wide at the rim. I'm going to push down. Normally we push kind of almost straight down when we're trying to make a cylinder or a mug. But with this, when I push down, I'm pushing with the full fingerprint, almost even up to that first knuckle. I'm going to push down. And I'm going to hold off to where I'm 1/4 inch at the bottom. And I'm going to pull back towards me and up, and then squish right back down the center. So a lot of times when we're beginning to throw our bowls, we get that little lump in there, that little beginner ridge. So it'll be like smooth and then loop and then there. If you have a mud tool rib that is a blue one that's about this shape, I forget what size it is or what the name of the shape is, it's perfect for coming in and smoothing. The red rib is a little bit soft, that's why I'm kind of bracing it with my finger, but that blue, that deep navy blue mud tool rib is perfect for the interior of bowls, especially to get rid of that little lump. A lot of times when I say the blue rib, people think of the Kemper blue rib that is kind of comes apart at the edge. That's an okay rib, but my favorites are the mud tools. All right, so now I have this little ridge here, and I'm going to lift up before I start to shape that bowl. So I'm going to start with my finger in the center of the bowl and my finger at the bottom, and they're going to come and move up until they get across from each other, and then I'm going to lift up. I want to leave that rim a little bit thick because I don't want, if I thin it out too much, I won't have anything to stretch. So now I'm kind of starting to stretch it out a little bit. There's still that little ridge in there, so I'm going to smooth that out, move back down. And we're going to take an idea and see how far we are. So we still need to open to at least 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch more. Round that out, so that's going to be the place where the wax sits. And now with my rib, and move it outward just a little bit because it's got to sit in. It can't, the outside has to be able to fit inside the interior of that shape we just threw. So I'm going to push down and lift up. So I'm lifting up with my finger on the outside. I'm going to get to a certain point, and I'm going to kind of just roll that outward, just like we did that rim on the base. And now we can check where we are, and we're just a little over that size. So that's fine. We can lift it up. And until you throw multiples, there we go. You see those folks that just crank out the same shape over and over and over, and they know by feel where that mark needs to be. We have to keep using a ruler because we haven't thrown it enough. That's where that phrase intuition comes from repetition. So the more you do something, the more it just becomes second nature. So we're going to leave this right here. We're going to cut it off the bat, and when we trim, we're going to trim the bottom round that won't have a foot. So we're going to trim it into an inverted dome.